A little gem of a temple lost in the rocky and rugged countryside of western Maharashtra stands inconspicuously on a small hillock located in southeast of Pune city. The hillock, known as Bhuleshwar Hill, is the eastern end of a mountain ridge that stretches all the way in east-west direction, starting from Sinhagad Fort, located in south of Pune city again. Another fort, named as Malhargarh, is also located on one of the spurs of this ridge. The Bhuleshwar hillock is not more than 150 meters tall and can be easily climbed. For visitors not interested in exerting themselves even that much, there is a motorable road that takes you to the base of the temple rampart. Maharashtra is famous for its hill forts built on plateaus in Sahyadri or Western Ghat Mountains. With these almost unconquerable holdouts firmly in his hand, the great Maratha king Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was able to face the mighty armies of Adil Shah and Mughals with great success. Besides the large forts built on mighty Sahyadri ranges, these small forts also served probably as administration centers and provided stability and security to vast regions surrounding them. An example of this kind of small fort is the Subhan Mangal Fort near Shirwal town in Pune district. However, the original purpose of construction of the structure on Bhuleshwar Hill remains unknown. It might have been constructed basically as a proper fort with ramparts and observation platforms for administrative purposes, or as safe and secure place for gathering of ascetics and alike. It was originally known as Mangalgarh or Daulat Mangal Fort. In almost all forts in western Maharashtra, one or several temples for hill deities were always built inside the ramparts for the inhabitants to pray to their deity. Bhuleshwar Fort was no exception. However, over the centuries, as construction continued, the Shiva temple at Bhuleshwar must have slowly occupied a large part of the entire fort itself. The built up area of this fort is about 200 meters by 200 meters, whereas the temple has an area of 60 meters by 40 meters. No one knows how this happened or who did it. Engraved inscriptions in temples usually give us a clue about the history of temples. There are about 90 such inscriptions at Bhuleshwar, engraved at various places. However, most of these are from later periods. The only inscription that gives some information is by the son of a king known as Jaita and is dated as 1281 CE. Concluding from this and many aspects of the style of temple architecture, researchers agree that Bhuleshwar temple construction must have started sometime in 10th or 11th century during rule of Kalyani Chalukya dynasty kings who ruled over this area and must have continued till 1300 CE during rule of Yadava dynasty kings. Islamic iconoclasts took over the area by 1300 CE, and like in many temples from all over India, almost all human images sculptured on walls, pillars and friezes in Bhuleshwar temple were either defaced or heavily damaged. Yet, from what we can see today, a fair idea about the quality of workmanship and attention to details emerges out. The remains of sculptures at Bhuleshwar speak volumes about the caliber and expertise of sculptor who created the mini marvel. During 13th to 17th century period, the temple, however, was in a total state of neglect and was slowly reduced to a ruinous, dilapidated state. Brahmendra Swami Dhawadshikar, born in 1649 AD, was a learned Pandit from village Dhawadshi near town of Vai. Later on, he became very famous in western Maharashtra. Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, Balaji Vishwanath Peshwa, and first Bajirao Peshwa considered him as their religious guru. Using funds allotted to him by these rulers, he set up his own facility to repair temples from this area. Bhuleshwar temple was also one of the beneficiaries. Renovation work started in 1737 and continued until 1745, even after Brahmendra Swami took Samadhi in 1738. The reconstruction included building of three shikhara or the towers of the temple roof that were found damaged, stucco panels on friezes, etc. We can therefore say with conviction that only because of Brahmendra Swami we are able to see the temple in a somewhat presentable condition today. How do we go to Bhuleshwar? Take Pune Solapur road and continue to Yavat town. Here a small branch road turns right to Malshiras town. Take this road. After about 10 kilometers, the Bhuleshwar hillock can be seen on right. The road climbs up the hill, right up to the base of the ramparts. This barren hill is now being converted into a park, and if all goes well, the hillock can turn in a nice woody area soon. Bhuleshwar temple has been constructed in a unique sort of way. The main shrine of the temple, Nandi Mandap, and two rows of pillars surrounding the circumambulation path are all constructed on the top of the hill plateau. The fort ramparts, however, have been built from a much lower level. One needs to climb a number of steps from this low level to reach the forecourt of the temple. As we climb the steps, the three shikhara or temple towers can be seen on left. The forecourt is at a level that is about midway between the main shrine level and rampart base level. The main entry door to the temple faces east, and the forecourt, it has rather a narrow width. As we enter inside, we see a massive stone wall in front and two narrow winding staircases on both sides that lead you upstairs. After climbing up, we enter the main temple area. A Nandi Mandap stands towards east and the main shrine of Lord Shiva in front of it. It consists of a mandap, an antarala or a vestibule, and the sanctum. The Shivaling is seen inside the sanctum at a much lower level, and we need to go down a couple of steps to reach it. The main temple entrance is located in the vestibule. The circumambulation path is around the main shrine. On the other side of the circumambulation path, there is an unsymmetrically placed ring of stone pillars on a colonnade with large panels of image sculpture over the cornice are seen all round. There are also sculptured images on shrine door jamb, mandap pillars, brackets at top of pillars and on outer walls of sanctum and the vestibule ahead of it. There are walls of half height around main mandap with engraved panels on east and north. These have carved episodes of Ramayana and Mahabharat. On the outer walls of sanctum and vestibule, on south and west, there are sculptured human images par excellence, though in ruined condition. The outer ramparts of the fort completely encompass the temple area. There is an exit staircase on the north, which again brings us down to level of forecourt. The image of Nandi has a smooth black finish. The Nandi image and pillars of Nandi Mandap are all clearly from Chalukya period, as these have great similarity with such images found in temples of North Karnataka districts such as Madhukeshwara temple at Banvasi. Let us now proceed to have a look at some of the sculptured images, panels, and stucco murals over the cornice. Only then we would be able to appreciate the beauty of this temple. There is a full size mural depicting the scene of Swayamvar of Princess Draupadi, in which Prince Arjun is shown in large size in the panel, being the subject of the mural. Draupadi stands on his left with a flower garland in her hand. Her father and brother stands behind her. Other Pandavas, dressed like ascetics, are shown seated in Arjuna's right. Many other persons and kings are also shown here, but identification is difficult. Another mural on the east half wall depicts the battle between Arjun and his grandfather Bhishma during Great War of Mahabharat. This panel is in two parts, but stands disfigured and damaged to a large extent. In the front part of the panel, these two warriors are shown fighting with each other, standing on their respective chariots. Unfortunately, only charioteers and horses now survive. In the second part, their chariots, now broken and overturned, the two warriors are on ground still fighting each other. Arjuna's image remains in somewhat better state, though his face has been chipped away. Even the arrows released by him are also carved on the wall in mid-air. Having seen these, we are reminded of a TV serial shown on national TV some time back. The mural on north side shows a battle fought by an army having infantry, cavalry, elephantry, and chariotry as four divisions. The minute details of the warriors shown here are worthy of great appreciation. Let us now turn our attention to life-size human sculptures on outer walls of sanctum on southern and western sides. Most of the sculptures here were defaced or destroyed after 13th century. A couple of sculptures, however, remain intact. Worth special mention are two sculptures. The first one is an extremely beautiful lady making her hair while looking at a handheld round mirror. And the second one is of a mridanga player. However, the mridanga is now missing. There are few more sculptures of ladies and men, but their hands, feet, and faces have been chiseled off. What can be constructed as a unique speciality of Bhuleshwar Mahadev temple are the large panels of image sculptures over the cornice of the open part of colonnade surrounding the circumambulation path facing the vestibule and sanctum exterior walls. In all, there are 10 panels with 4 panels each on south and north side and a couple on west side. On each of these panels, there are 3 images of deities in a semicircular space and with torana decoration around it. The image at the center is of a larger size compared to other two. Out of 30 images, only 3 are having male form, whereas remaining 27 are in female form. Not all 30 images have been identified, but about 20 of them have been. Taking into consideration the carrier assigned to the deity or Vahana, sculptured just below the panels on a dado, all the deity images are well proportioned and pleasing to eye. The images in female form are identified as of Sapta Matrikas or 7 progenitors commonly observed in many Hindu temples. Saptamatrakas that have been identified are Indrani, Brahmi, Maheshwari, Kaumari, Varahi, Chamunda, and Vaishnavi. Besides these 7, there is also the image of elephant-headed female Ganeshi. There is a disagreement among iconographers whether the image is of 8th Matrika Vainayaki or that of the Lord Ganesh in female form, called as Ganeshi. Out of remaining three male images, the image of Bhairav can only be identified. Besides their respective carriers, all Matrika images in panels are shown with their weapons of war and other accessories, which makes it very easy to identify them. Normally, in all temples, matrikas, where 7, 8, or even 9, are shown in a single row on one frieze. Here at Bhuleshwar, we see a unique phenomenon. They are shown severally yet represent collectively. The 7 or 8 matrikas, in many matrika friezes, images of gods Ganesh, Veerabhadra are shown on both sides of matrikas. However, at Bhuleshwar, we only see Bhairav images on the last panel. No Ganesh is shown anywhere. Perhaps we need to go to some more details regarding the matrikas. By Indian tradition, matrikas are believed to be different manifestations of the Adi Shakti or that primordial source of all energy represented by goddess Durga. It is also believed that matrikas represent the power or energy of all major male deities. Hence, the image of Indrani represents the power of Indra. Brahma's power is Brahmani, Vishnu's power as Vaishnavi, Shiva's power as Maheshwari, Kartikeya's power as Kaumari. Besides this, the power of Varaha, incarnation of Vishnu, is represented by Varahi, and power of goddess Durga is represented by Chamunda. You can visit Bhuleshwar Mahadev temple and return to Pune easily in 4 to 5 hours, depending on your interest. If the visit is planned during rainy season or winter mornings, hot sun can be avoided. Bhuleshwar Mahadev is an ideal place to visit on a holiday.